sees the means of production, and the like and subscribe button. I mean, there was literally like a chapter summary up through here. It seems like none of this is about Trump. Look, the final section, Trump, Elon is a very good person. It's this whole thing. I'm telling you, man, they're setting him up to be the president. Like my initial estimation, my opening guess was that Elon was going to be like the de facto president by controlling things behind the scenes, hence the shadow president stuff. But it kind of seems like he wants the limelight too much. He's too obsessed with people's approval and attention. He's a lot like Trump in that respect, except obviously Trump is much, much more charismatic. So it seems like, I don't know, like in the absence of that, I feel like they might just set him up to try to like hold that perceived institutional power as well.
Called Neuralink.
Yes.
You might help the blind to see,
yes,
and people with spinal cord injuries
Oh yeah. No, I mean, none of that's happened yet, but like you might, you know. Oh, they got rid of some of the federal employees they got rid of, by the way, were the people who were investigating the efficacy and ethics of the Neuralink product, if I remember correctly. So clearing the path there.
They can recover where in the past, how close is that becoming a success?
Neuralink, we've implanted Neuralink in 3 patients so far who are quite...
Oh, sorry.
Allows them to directly control their phone and computer just using their mind, just by thinking. It's like, so we call this product telepathy. So you control your computer and phone just by thinking, and it's possible to actually control the computer and phone faster than someone who has working hands. Then the next step would be to add a second Neuralink implant past the point where the neurons are damaged, so that somebody can walk again, and so they can have full body functionality restored. And
you like Bobby, right?
I like Bobby, actually, yeah. I think I supported Bobby Kennedy. I think he's unfairly maligned as someone who is anti-science, but I think he isn't. He just wants to question the science, which is the essence of the science. The scientific method fundamentally is about always questioning the science.
Well, they didn't tell us the truth about COVID.
Correct.
That's for sure.
This is kind of like because a lot of what the Trump administration has been doing feels like it makes a lot of sense in a utilitarian way, where you're like, okay, so they're trying to rape the country, rob the poor of their wealth. And then you wonder, okay, but what RFK Jr. represents is bad for everyone. Like literally all people. There will be very wealthy people who don't get like their kids vaccinated or whatever. They're like the prevalence of this disease would be devastating to the economy of the world. Like, you know, it goes beyond that. So what's the point there? And it just goes back into the death cult thing, right? Like you have to remember Silicon Valley fascists, Peter Thiel types, you know, they're not just like cold utilitarian rationalists or whatever. These people are actual psychopaths. Like they engage in like pagan rituals to the AI god. You know, they're crazy people. So yeah, it's just important to keep in mind, like, you know, Hitler, Himmler, they both thought, you know, there were like artifacts of ancient deities strewn about the world, you know?
Sure.
Yes.
And we learned a lot with the Twitter files. And that just then raises a question. You're the richest man in the world. You may not like that part. You're pretty competitive.
It's neither here nor there.
I've known you a long time. But
That's why
but he's on your team.
president.
Well, that's true. He can't top that.
He's good. You know, I wanted to find somebody smarter than him. I searched all over. I just couldn't do it. I couldn't.
You really tried hard.
I couldn't find anyone smarter, right? So we had it for the country.
But this is the thing.
We settled on this.
Well,
guy.
thanks for having me.
So
I'm just trying to be useful.
He's never talked about
this is where we are as a society.
like this. Nobody.
I hate to do this to you, but I'm going to do it anyway. You're doing all of these things. Nobody at Doge gets paid a penny, correct?
Well, actually, some people are federal employees.
Some are, okay.
Yeah,
they're helping.
But I think it's fair to say that the software engineers at Doge could be earning millions of dollars a year, and instead of earning a small fraction of that as federal employees.
Okay, so
and they're very committed people.
So
yes.
You're committed to helping the blind see, people with spinal cord injuries recover.
See, does it not feel like that's what they're doing? This is Christ-like deification. This is beyond, this isn't even like, how do we appeal to the interests of our constituency, of our viewers? This is just complete kowtowing. This is like you're making a god emperor here. It's such obvious propaganda. Yeah, but it goes beyond that, man. Like, it's messianic attribution to a person who isn't even the guy they voted for. It's not just, hey, let's help our leader here, you know? It's crazy.
Yes. You're committed to getting to Mars. You're committed to rescue. You're going to help rescue next month 2 astronauts that I think were abandoned. They dispute that in an interview.
When are you getting them?
Oh, how nice of Sean Hannity to casually mention that what he's saying is a lie. Do you think Trump recognizes how profoundly stupid Elon is? I don't know. I don't know. Who knows? Who knows? His brain's pretty soupish. What if they're trying to elevate Elon as a Trump successor, Vaush? What a great idea, you know? What if? Why hadn't I thought of that?
Request, or instruction, we are accelerating the return of the astronauts, which was postponed kind of to a ridiculous degree.
They got left in space.
They've been there. They were supposed to be there 8 days. They're there almost 300.
Biden.
They were yes, they were left up there for political reasons, which is not good.
Okay, it's not good. Now, if I had the weight of the pressure of doing that successfully on my shoulders, I think I'd be, you know. But when we spoke before we did this interview, you are very confident. You think this will be a successful mission.
Well, we don't want to be complacent, but we have brought astronauts back from the space station many times before, and always with success.
I haven't really talked about this due to mostly, like, if I recall correctly, like underfunding of NASA. That's kind of like the ultimate reason for this happening. 2 astronauts who were supposed to be up for only a little bit. They haven't come back down yet. They've been up there for a long time. They haven't been abandoned. It's literally just like the gutting of our institutions. They've, by the way, cut more from NASA lately. So this problem is only going to get worse. Not that we're going to have NASA soon. NASA's going to like exclusively contract with SpaceX. Every dollar that goes to NASA is just going to be rerouted to SpaceX. No, it's all Boeing's fault. Yeah, but isn't the reason they were relying on Boeing because of NASA defunding? Like the reason that NASA's been doing so much like subcontracting is because, yeah, whatever. Anyway, it's not a political thing at all. It's literally just like a technical thing. But of course, never waste a crisis, right? Never waste a crisis.
Mm-hmm. So as long as we're not complacent.
When are you going to launch?
I think it's about 4 weeks to bring them back.
About 4 weeks?
Yeah.
And
we're being extremely cautious. Yeah.
You now have the go-ahead.
Yes. Well, thanks to you.
They didn't have the go-ahead with Biden.
What's that?
He was going to leave him in space. I think he was going to leave him in space.
Well, it's like we were growing up, lost in space.
Yeah, he didn't want the publicity. Can you believe it?
Unbelievable. And so
yeah.
I want to echo something that the president said and then ask an overarching question. So people get hit with Hurricane Helene. They have no communication with the outside world. You come to the rescue. You donated that, I believe?
Yes.
Okay. You donated to the people.
He saved a lot of lives in North Carolina. He saved a lot of lives.
And California after the wildfires?
California, but I mean in North Carolina where they were really in trouble. They had no communication. People were dying. They were dying of starvation. He saved a lot of lives in North Carolina.
Okay. Now you're going to rescue astronauts. And now, and again, you do.
It's just all Elon glazing. Yeah, what am I supposed to say with? We're mostly just like witnessing this, you know. I know it's difficult to listen to. It's the reason why I'm partially, like, to be honest, partially checked out because I mean, what do you want from me? What do you want from me, man? I'm gonna lose my mind. Yeah, when are you going to be able to walk on water? It's literally all just glazing.
I would think liberals would love the fact that you have the biggest electric vehicle company in the world.
Yeah, I mean, I used to be adored by the left, you know.
Yeah, not anymore.
Less so these days.
He killed that, huh?
Then he announced that he was a Republican to head off a story about giving a woman $250,000 so she would keep quiet about him telling her to touch his. Yeah.
I mean,
I really did it.
Sorry, $250,000 and a horse.
You know, they call it like Trump derangement syndrome, and you don't realize how real this is until like you can't reason with people. So like I was at a friend's birthday party in LA, just a birthday dinner, and it was like a nice, quiet dinner, and everyone was behaving normally. And I happened to mention, this is before the election, like a month or two before, I happened to mention the president's name. And it was like they got shot with a dart in the jugular that contained like methamphetamine and rabies. Okay, and they're like,
why the f does he move like that?
The dart in the jugular that contained like methamphetamine and rabies. Okay, and they're like, wow. And I'm like, what is wrong, guys? Like,
what's that tweet? Elon's always moving like he's trying to be the next meme format or something.
Can't have like a normal conversation. Yeah. And it's like it's like that they become completely irrational.
Do the jump, Elon.
He has no idea, but if you're friends with him,
yeah,
you pay a price. You know, it's like I walk in a restaurant in New York and it's like half the room it's daggers and they want to.
No, the eye daggers level is insane.
Yeah.
I mean, there was like I had like some invitation because so I got invited to like basically a big sort of damn event like that was, but I received the invitation like the beginning of last year, and I still attended even after I'd endorsed President Trump, and I didn't realize how profoundly that would affect how I was received. I mean, I walk into the room and I'm getting just the dirty looks from everyone. Like, if looks could kill, I would have been dead several times.
I really want to know what they did to Trump to make him capable of being this agreeable. You know what I mean? For him just sitting there quietly. He did this at the Oval Office too. Quietly, respectfully. Every time he opens its mouth, it's to compliment Elon. No, I don't think it's money. No, I don't think it's like that. Like Trump's ego goes beyond his desire for wealth. They buck broke his ass, man. Elon f***ed Melania in front of him or something. I don't know. There's something to it. Trump has Neuralink. It's got to be it. It's got to be it.
It's over.
But that was not before Trump.
Ashes on the floor.
Before Trump, that never happened, right?
No.
This is the $1 million or billion
There's
dollar
a cut
among
between
billionaires question. So you have all of this going on, and you stop. In a way, you're still doing it, and you partner with him. And this is what you get for it from the Democrats. You get, nobody voted for Elon. Well, nobody voted for any of your.
Why the f is the audio so bad for this section? Can I live? Am I allowed to live, like, legally? Is it that bad on the clip?
With President and you partner with him. And this is what you get for it from the Democrats. You get, nobody voted for Elon. Well, nobody voted for any of your cabinet nominees. Okay. People are dying because of Doge cuts. I'll give you a chance to respond to all that. What Doge is doing is illegal. Elon Musk is more street vernacular for a male body part. It's a constitutional crisis.
Okay. Why are they reacting like this?
Well, first of all, do you give it fly and rip? Oh, number one, and
well, I guess we must be over the target or doing something right. You know, if like they wouldn't be complaining so much if we weren't doing something useful. I think. But what all we're really trying to do here is restore the will of the people through the president. And what we're finding is that there's an unelected bureaucracy. Speaking of unelected, there's a vast federal bureaucracy that is implacably opposed to the president and the cabinet. And you look at, say, DC voting, it's 92% Kamala. Okay, so we're 92% Kamala. That's a lot.
they don't like me here either.
I think about that number a lot. I'm like 92%. That's basically almost everyone.
Yeah.
And so
it really makes you wonder why federal workers would not like people who are openly antagonistic to federal workers, you know? You just have to wonder, like, if there's anything prejudicial about our giant, openly stated campaign to replace federal workers with a team of loyalists who will act as yes men to our agenda. It's just really strange, you know? There's got to be some kind of collusion to it.
But how can you, if the will of the president is not implemented, and the president is representative of the people, that means the will of the people is not being implemented.
So this is, again, like, just straightforwardly fascist rhetoric. Like, this is just authoritarianism explained. Like, no, there should be no holds on presidential power because the president is actually the will of the people. So through the will of the people, like, this is just verbatim what Hitler said. Like, verbatim, no difference at all. Everything that he did to consolidate his own power was justified off the argument that, well, my power is representative of the people, so anything that stops me is anti-people, you know? Yeah, not much else to say, really.
And that means we don't live in a democracy, we live in a bureaucracy. And so I think what
you
we're
already
seeing
said
here
that!
Is the sort of
a line so clever, he had to say it twice.
As we try to restore democracy and the will of the people. Is this making sense? I mean...
No, of course it does. I mean, to me, if you look at our framers and our founders, and
the audio is kind of fucked for this clip.
You really become a student of history, Mr. President, and we've had conversations both on air and off air. And if we talk about constitutional order or transformational change, nobody can argue that what's happening here is it's going at the speed of light. But however, what were the principles of our framers and our founders? They wanted limited government, greater freedom for the people. And we'll get to the specific cutting of waste, fraud, and abuse. That is your goal, is it not?
Yeah, and my goal was to get great people. And when you look at what this man has done, I mean, it was something. I knew him a little bit through the White House. Originally, I'd see him around a little bit. I didn't know him before that. And I respected what he did. And he fought hard. You know, he was maybe questioned for a while. He was having some difficulties. It was not easy doing what he did. I mean, how many people have started a car company and made it really successful?
Like, literally not a word to offer unless it's glazing Elon. Like nothing else. No, nothing else. Not even self-glazing.
A better car where it's, you know, beating these big companies. That's all they do.
And yes, of course, everybody knows that Trump for a long time didn't like Elon, probably because Elon's a puerile, sniveling little rat and a bitch. So, like, everyone knows the tweets, but, like, it doesn't matter because we've rewritten history.
Cars. I mean, it's really amazing the things that he's done, but I didn't know it as much then as now. I mean, the fruits have sort of taken hold, but I wanted great people, and he's a great person. He's an amazing person. He's also a caring person. You know, he uses the word care. So they signed a contract in a government agency, and it has 3 months, and the guy leaves that signed the contract, and nobody else is there, and they pay the contract for 10 years.
Yeah.
So the guy is getting checks for years and years and years, and he's telling his family, obviously, maybe it was crooked, maybe he paid to get the contract, or maybe he paid that they didn't terminate it. But, you know, we have contracts that go forever, and they've been going for years. And they're supposed to end in 3 months or 5 months or 2 years or something, and they go forever. So the guy is either crooked, you know, where he knew this was going to happen, or he's crooked because he's getting payments that he knows he shouldn't be getting. But they're finding things like that. They're finding things far worse than that. And they're finding billions, and it will be hundreds of billions of dollars worth of fraud. I say waste and abuse, but fraud, waste, and abuse. And he's doing an amazing job. And he attracts a young, very smart type of person. I call them high IQ individuals, and they are. They're very high IQ and high IQ. And when they go in to see the people and talk to these people, you know, the people think they're going to pull it over. They don't. These guys are smart, and they love the country. You know, there's a certain something. But he uses the word care. So people have to care. Like, when I bought Air Force One, I negotiated the price. It was $5.7 billion, and I got them down to $1.7 billion. Now they're not building the plane fast enough. I mean, they're actually in default. Boeing, that's supposed to have been building this thing for.
Sorry, he pulled me into the weave for a little bit. What are we on?
We don't build the way we used to build. You know, we used to build like a ship a day, and now to build a ship is like a big deal. And we're going to get this country back on track. We can do it, but so many things. It takes so long to get things built and get things done. And a lot of it could be something we've been discussing. The regulators go in and they make it impossible to build. They make it very difficult to build anything, whether it's a ship, a plane, or a building, or anything. And some of them do it because they want to show how important they are. Some of them do it maybe because they think they're right. They use the environment to stop progress and to stop things. It's always the environment. It's an environmental problem. It's not an environmental problem at all. But they do a lot of things. And by the way, speaking of that, Lee Zeldin is going to be fantastic in the position. It's so important. He could take 10 years to approve or disapprove something, or he could do it in a month. You know, just as good.
Sure.
And I think you're going to see a fantastic job done by him. He's a tremendous guy.
Newt, you echoed something when I just met you, and it was very similar to what Newt has been saying, that he brought this country to the dance. This is the opportunity to be transformational and to have, I would argue, the most consequential presidency if we really dig down and do something that had never been done before, and that is get rid of this bureaucracy. And I'm going to get to the specifics. You say the same thing. It's not done yet. And what do you mean by that?
I mean, winning the election is really the opportunity to fix the system. It is not fixing the system itself. So it's an opportunity to fix the system and to restore the power of democracy. And, you know, people, like, It's funny how often when these attacks occur, the thing that they're accusing the administration of is what they are guilty of. They're saying that things are being done unconstitutional.
Do you think Elon has Epstein dirt on Trump? There is no Epstein dirt on Trump. Trump was like he's openly on the Epstein list. Like it's not dirt in like, oh, he has secrets or whatever. It's just known publicly. It just doesn't matter, you know?
What they are doing is unconstitutional. They are guilty of the crime of which they accuse us.
That's always the first thing they do.
Yeah.
He's in violation of the Constitution. They don't even know what they're talking. Well,
It's
they
absurd.
know. It's just a con job. It's a big con job. And they're so bad for the country.